Michelle?
All ready when you are.
I'll call this meeting of the Budget Advisory Committee to order. Roll call, please.
All right, Chair Bergman,
Here.
Vice Chair Hall.
Here.
Ms. Major is absent, Ms. Hales is absent, and Ms. Howard.
Here.
Thank you. The primary portion of our budget today is to review departmental budget presentations. And it looks like we start with planning and zoning.
Good afternoon, everyone. Renee Vincent, Planning and Zoning Director. And hold on, I gotta move this chair. So, for brevity, I'll kind of focus in on the, before I get started, you do have a binder I put in front of your seat that is a copy of the draft comprehensive plan. So, the capital improvements element might be of interest to you as a budget committee member. So at your leisure, take a look at that. And if you have any questions, let us know about the plan itself. We're very happy to finally have that coming across the finish line to be adopted soon. For my annual budget, we do have some increases to our professional services. That is largely tied to that plan that I have in front of you. I don't think it's included in the binder, but once the comprehensive plan is adopted, we have a very significant follow-on work plan that comes out of that. Things like amendments to the land development code, special planning studies and things of that nature. So that is what's really driving that particular increase in the professional services budget. Also included with that is our, we do pay our stormwater consultant to review our site plans that come through for development review. We have started collecting a stormwater review fee, so right now we're averaging collecting about 50% back from the developer on those review fees. So we'll continue to kind of monitor that, and if we need to raise that fee to help cover some of those stormwater review costs in the future, we will. We just got that in place at the beginning of this fiscal year back in October. The other thing that you might see is there under the books, publications, and subscriptions. A large increase there. That is actually 2 software as a service programs that we've had for a couple of years. They used to show up under professional services before. They've been moved down. One of those is the Connect Tarpon website, which is our public engagement site, and the other is our ClearPoint strategy, which manages a strategic plan for the city. So those are reflected under the books, publications, and subscriptions, and that's about $26,000 in and of itself. We did have an increase in our budget for travel this year, although we haven't used any of our travel for the current year. I do have 4, I'll say credentialed planners. All 4 of us have American AICP certifications, and we have to have continuing education credits to maintain those certifications. So going to conferences is one of the best way to get those hours logged. And we do have some specific conferences that a couple of my members are interested in going to that haven't normally been on the list, which is the Congress for New Urbanism conferences. So that's kind of the high level of the increases in the budget. If I can answer any questions, please let me know.
No particular questions, but it sounds like just high level. We've got this comprehensive plan, which was major effort.
Yes.
I was part of some of the meetings for that, so I know there was kind of a lot of stuff going into there. So it sounds like that's kind of driving the budget increases, along with some travel and
Exactly.
things. But yeah.
And if necessary, we've got some room to cut. You can always find some. Ron's at the ready.
So to that end, I'm just curious to know, like, if somebody said you have to cut 10%, where would you cut it from? Like,
I
just
would probably cut
arbitrarily?
some of the travel and probably some of the professional services. I could do that pretty easily. The professional services that, some of that, is estimating. So, hopefully we can do the lion's share of our work in-house and not have to go out for consultants for certain things, but certain specific technical things we have to. So, if I needed to cut some of that professional services, that would be just fine.
And based on last week, we were just looking for 1%, so I just thought, oh, I'm just curious to know. If it were 10, what would it be?
Any other questions for planning and zoning?
I don't think so. It sounds like we kind of got a high level plan. So maybe just going back over this. When do you expect the comprehensive plan to get approved? I know it's kind of.
So we are scheduled for the Planning and Zoning Board public hearing on June 17th. And then the Board of Commissioners' first reading, which is the transmittal hearing, public hearing, will be scheduled for July, the second meeting in July, is it 16th or 18th or somewhere around in there?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there. And then we will transmit, we have to transmit the plan to Forward Pinellas, which is the countywide planning authority for review. And we have to submit it to, there's a bunch of other reviewing agencies
Yeah,
that goes
I
to the
imagine.
state. And so then we wait, and if we don't get back any adverse comments or have to make a bunch of amendments for any reason, then, I mean, I'm anticipating that we'll have it adopted, hopefully September.
And then that's when the zoning stuff has to change. And then at some point, if there's any developments, that's when that'll start. When do you expect kind of the development stuff to happen? With respect to this, would that be years out? Like
I mean, when you say development stuff,
if there was any, I remember we were talking about like, different housing projects or something, or zoning things for different.
So the work plan that comes, that's, and the work plan's online on Connect Tarpon if you really want to delve into it. So it's pretty extensive. So there's follow-on. One of the things that's called for, one, we need to update our land development code to get
Okay.
it in step. That's the first thing that's really driving my budget. After that, we have several areas that are identified as these transitional areas where we're going to have to do additional like local, small area planning efforts to really get a grip on what's going on in those areas, like north of the Anclote River, and places where we already have conflict between the existing land use and zoning and what people really want to build. So those special planning studies will be coming over the next 2 to 3 years. One of the big ticket items is a Parks and Recreation master plan that needs to be developed, and that'll be between planning and, public services and public works, so it'll be a joint project. So there's a lot of planning efforts to come that will
All
probably.
ahead of any like actual like, yeah.
Exactly. So, but when the plan goes into effect for outside developers, applying to come in and build projects, it'll go into effect the day it's adopted and be applied to them. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So in the coming years, potentially. That's
Absolutely.
good. And you said we could read a summary page. Which page was that, did you say, in this comprehensive plan book? Or you said,
Okay. Well, so at the very beginning. So I would call attention to, if you want a high-level overview of kind of what the data and analysis, data and analysis indicated, just read, the first, starting on page 5,
Okay.
7.
just the intro page?
The
okay,
intro page,
section.
and then you may be interested in the capital improvements element, because that pertains to the budget and capital improvements, plan that Ron, has to do every year. And I believe that starts on page 75, so that might be of interest.
Okay, that sounds good. Does this, and I know we attended those workshops, maybe just remind me, does this include kind of like the projection for the population?
It does. You'll find that in that summary. So
Roundabout, what are you expecting over the next?
over the next 20 years, population increase of about 2,600 people. It's kind of slow incremental growth.
2,600, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
nothing earth-shattering.
Okay, that's helpful.
And at a very high level, we're in very good shape with our utility services for water, sewer, and being able to provide projected population and employment growth for the service area for the next, even beyond the 20-year planning horizon. So
Okay, super, thank you. That's all I had.
Anything else?
No, I'm just gonna ask Ron, the email with the attachment for I only have the summary of the departments with the totals. I didn't get the details. What was the name of that document?
I might
That
have it.
email, if you can, somebody can forward it to
FY
me?
2020, oh, the summary. No, I just have summary too,
I only
actually.
got summary. I
I'm
didn't
looking at
get all of
summary.
those details like that.
Do you need this or?
No, I have that.
Okay.
Let me see.
She's talking about this, the breakdown.
I think you were supposed to go to the website.
Oh,
and
I
go down.
missed that. Okay,
Okay.
I can do that now
Can you go
though,
to the
right?
website then?
Yes, I can.
Under the public documents? Document
All
library?
right, thank you.
you're
Sorry
welcome.
about that.
Thank you.
Oh, I
I think
missed
you
that.
wanna, I can give you my book here.
No, I can grab it real quick.
I guess economic development is next.
Hello, thank you, Karen Lemons. The economic development budget is pretty standard. There's one increase in there under operating supplies for computer replacement. The computer has been having issues, so IT's recommended to replace the computer. So that's $2,200. That's really the only change to the economic development budget.
Okay.
Any questions on economic development?
No, maybe just high level. What are kind of some of the main things you're looking at this year to kind of impact, I guess, finance or budget with the city? I'm sure you've got people coming in. I know you're meeting with businesses regularly, so
Yeah, we're working on a lot of infill projects.
Yeah, okay.
There's not a lot of room for growth.
Okay.
So a lot of what we're doing is trying to market the buildings that are already here that are maybe not in such great shape that need redevelopment.
okay.
There are some property purchases that the city is looking at that will have some impact. One is a spoil site north of the river.
And that would kind of be an efficiency project, as I understand, because like we might be paying for services, and if we had that, then we might save a little bit on some of the services.
Right, we've been leasing a site for several years, actually since the first dredge that was done back in I think the early 80s.
Okay.
So they're looking at right now doing due diligence to see if it would be worth just to purchase that, so we would have a site to use every time we do a dredge. And then staff is also looking at alternative ways of using it, because you dredge maybe once every 20 years or so. So we're looking at, it's next to the RO plant.
Okay.
So it could be, an additional water well there. It could be expansion of the plant. It could be public works yard expansion. So we're looking at ways of using that would make the site feasible.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Do you also you present the CRA?
Yes.
You want to do that one next?
Okay. So with the CRA, you'll see the main change in that under operating supplies. There's an increase of 70,000 there. That is for decorative light poles. We're going to be installing light poles along North Safford between Orange and Live Oak.
Okay.
So believe it or not, there are no streetlights once you pass Tarpon Tavern. And we've talked to business owners and residents, and now we're getting businesses along that way with Brighter Days and Stumpy's, and we're
Yes.
getting some apartments there, and it's very, very dark.
Yeah.
So we're going to be installing 20 decorative light poles along that area. That'll also help draw people. When they look down the street, it looks really
bright.
dark
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
It'll help to maybe bring them down the street a little bit further.
Where are they being installed? Not on the trail, on the street part?
Yeah, on the street, on Safford Avenue, on both sides, I believe.
Okay, nice.
And is there, I know there's like warehouses, is there space for, if new businesses want to go there, would they have the opportunity, or is it kind of like filled up over there?
Along North Safford? Well, there was a Limno Sponge building that was torn down. That's going to be an 8-unit apartment building.
Okay,
It's under construction now. You can see the site
nice.
has been uprooted. I'm trying to think of what else. There's warehousing along there next to Brighter Days.
Yeah,
And
that'll
then
look
farther
nice.
down on Live Oak, and where the trail ends in Live Oak, there is also a site plan for a new townhome development.
Oh, nice, nice.
That's in front of the development that's there now on the river.
I know the business owners will appreciate that, just with the events, they always say that no one will go down to them because you can't see, and I don't blame them. And I know it's been a topic of conversation that they'll appreciate the use of those CRA
Yeah.
funds for that.
And that's one of the linkages we've been trying to make between downtown and the docks, that looking at different ways that would be the best pedestrian way of having a nice walk.
Right.
And that would be nice because it's got shade and it's the trail, but at night it's dark.
And when are they looking to do that?
This coming budget year.
That's nice, nice.
Okay, anything else for economic development and CRA?
And that is CRA funds being used for that?
Yes, that's CRA funds, yeah.
I just have one question. I'm looking at your CRA booklet, the quick facts. 227 acres, 600 tax parcels. Does that number of tax parcels fluctuate year over year? Or is it kind of just like,
It would only fluctuate if things are taken off the tax rolls. And there have not been many properties that have
so
been
that's
taken
great.
off the tax rolls.
okay.
So that's a number of the actual parcels, whether they're developed or not.
Okay, I think that's what
Yeah,
I was
it
wondering.
can be a
like,
vacant
How many
land.
are developed and there's not a lot of room, I guess, maybe okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just trying to get an idea as the years to come, will we be having additional potential revenue sources for maybe increase in population or increase in business?
If there's new construction.
Yeah.
In the CRA, there isn't a lot of vacant land for new construction,
Mm-hmm.
but redevelopment of existing properties will help increase the tax revenues too.
Good. It sounds like that, there's some of that planned. Thank you, no further questions from me.
You have any?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Project administration is next.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Bob Robertson. I'm Project Administration Department Director. Hello.
Hi there.
So real quick, by way of background, if you don't know what project admin is, we are an internal service department. We primarily handle technical services in support of projects, citywide projects for all the departments. We handle overseeing the design phases or construction phases or both of projects. We don't actually have any money for projects. We just spend everybody else's money. So that's what we do. My budget is mostly for my 5.5 employees. I say half because we share a position, an admin position with Public Services. For those employees and the associated expenses. Plus, we have a small amount of miscellaneous consulting money that we use for helping us do our jobs and for consulting services as needed. You'll see that this year's budget is about $100,000 less than last year's budget. I don't claim to be a budget hero for that. We just aren't buying 2 vehicles this year, so my money is back down to basically the same level as it has been in previous years. That's really the overview, and happy to take any questions.
Questions?
I don't have any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
thank you.
Okay, procurement is next.
I don't think Janina's here yet.
Oh, yeah, it was just a little bit early.
2:40, we're a little quicker.
Are you ready for me?
We're ready.
Oh, okay. Good afternoon, Janina Lewis, Procurement Services Director. So this is to present my FY25 budget. And if you take a quick look, I'm not really asking for much more than I asked for last year. We had a little bit of an increase in some of our training and our memberships that we usually are part of, like the NIGP, which is the National Procurement Services for Government. All those agencies, the prices have gone up. So we've asked for a little bit of increase there, and with that, I'll turn it over for questions.
Any questions?
No, I guess it's not, oh, do you have one?
No, go ahead.
It sounds like your budget's not changing too much, but I appreciate that you may have an impact on maybe other projects that the cities do. For example, if there's contracts, do they generally go through, or any major purchases?
They come through our office, yes.
They come through, and do you have like you probably have some review process to try to get like best price, I guess. We keep talking about how prices are going up and prices are going up, and it's like, I'm sure you've probably got your hands full trying to figure out like what might be best for different, whatever's in your purview.
We do. So recently, over the past couple of years, we try and put more tools in our toolbox, so
Yeah.
to speak, and what's the best way and the fastest and expedient way to get things done. We use a lot of bidding.
Okay.
So with the bidding concept, we generally take like lowest bid, responsive, responsible. The next way is like an RFP, which is request for proposals. And again, that is not so much price, but based more on experience, depending on what we're looking for.
Sure.
And then some of the tools outside of that we use, like the piggybacking and the cooperative contracts that other.
What is that?
Okay,
I'm not, I
so
have no
I'm
idea
about to
what
get
that
there.
is.
So a cooperative is like a collaborative. It's us and other agencies, and we go in on a large contract, so that like gives us like an economy of scale.
Okay.
The more
Oh.
that a vendor can sell out, the cheaper the price.
Oh, that's
So the
nice.
cooperatives kind of benefit us in a few ways, especially if it's, we're part of the greater Tampa co-op right now. That in particular is because it's localized, and we tend to get better pricing in that situation because there's no like administrative fees
Yeah.
to be a part of the co-op.
That's so interesting.
The piggybacking, other agencies, because we're so small, there's only like technically 3 buyers and I have 1 stores clerk. We use quite a few piggybacks because other agencies will go out for the same commodity we're buying and they bid it out and get the price.
I see.
So their price is set, and then we usually go off of their pricing, and we can do our own terms and conditions if we choose, and they can offer that pricing or better. So that's an option as well.
Those are some nice tools. Definitely. I'm sure it's a lot to look at, I imagine, with that. So, yeah, no, nothing further for me. Thank you for that background. That was
Have
helpful.
anything? No, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, appreciate it. Thank you.
HR next.
She's on her way up.
She's on her way.
Yeah, I gave her a call.
While we're waiting, just a curious question. The dredge site, where is that lease paid out of now?
It's paid out of the penny fund,
Penny fund.
yeah.
And then, like it's paid all the time even when we're not dredging? Or is it just when we're dredging?
Well, there's a contract.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly which
Yeah.
month. Bob would have known, when
Yeah,
the
I was
last
just-
month is up.
I
the
wouldn't
lease
want to
is
like
up.
get into that when it's something else, but I was just curious. I can look it up later, but while we were waiting, I thought I'm gonna
Or I
find
can
out.
find it out for you.
I think it's September,
Is it September?
I think so. Because they have to refurbish it. They have got money from the county, $465,000, I think, to refurbish it, and yet we're gonna put it on the referendum in November to buy it. Well, we just spent the money to refurbish it.
Yeah, it's gonna go under restoration again.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
That's all right.
Oh, no problem.
We're early.
Rolling along. I would like to hand these out as kind of takeaways. I'm not going to say a lot today, but you may want to look at what HR and Tarpon does in your spare time. I'm Jane Niffen, HR Director. I believe I've seen a couple of you, so this is going to be a retread for you in the way of
Thank you.
backup. First of all, since we have a minimalistic budget, I'd like to spend a couple minutes on our functions. We perform all the standard functions that most HR departments do. And in fact, we actually have a few more functions that in some cities are in other departments. One being risk management. We handle the work comp and the risk management entirely. Another is actually the mail processing and the reception is in HR as opposed to a standalone because we're a small city. I'd like to cover some benefits because the city is, I've often heard us as middle of the road or in the lower part when it comes to salaries and so on. But I can tell you that we're in the top tier for our benefit program. We have health insurance that has a $250 single and $500 family deductible, which is almost unheard of anymore. Some people even some of the employers, some of our healthcare companies that provide us with these plans, their deductibles are considerably more. And our out-of-pocket expenses are only $2,500 single and $5,000 family for the whole plan year. So the most you could pay out of your pocket would be, if you're single, would be $2,500, which is a deal in today's market. We also provide dental insurance, group life, and long-term disability. And all of these are provided at no cost to the employee and at a reduced cost to the employee for dependents. We also provide IRS Section 25 benefits, FSAs, and dependent daycare. We have pension plans, defined benefit for police and fire, defined contribution for the general employees. And we also have 2 deferred comp plans, one for the IAFF members and another for the general employees and anybody else, including the police department. Excuse me, I walked up the stairs and I'm very much out of shape. We handle employee compensation. We make all the changes to salaries. We do the employee relations, which is why we consider ourselves heavy on the personal and personnel aspect, as opposed to something like technology. We have technology, but we provide the personal touch that a lot of other departments are. They're driven by other factors. We are the interface with the employees. And this is a personal philosophy of mine, is that employers need to take care of their employees, especially in our public service, since our employees are the ones that are out on the streets. They're the ones actually providing the service. So if you don't take care of your employees, how do you think they're going to take care of our residents? So I think that's an important thing that we sometimes forget, that we're only as good as our weakest link, and hopefully that's not our employees. So we also do recruitment, selection. We handle the policies for the city. We do the labor relations for contracts. We administer a number of voluntary employee benefits, which employees can take. We provide them for the deductions, but they're actually paid by the employee. They're voluntary. They can select whatever they wish. We have accident. We have cancer protection. We have critical care. We have the hospital indemnity plan. We have short-term disability. We have dependent life. We have supplemental life if you want to take out a lot more insurance than the city provides. We also have the iMed Vision program. So that, in a nutshell, is what HR does. And as I said, there's not a lot in this budget that probably is suspect. We are minimal because, as I say, we believe in human intelligence. That's what we do. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Well, while your budget is small, I think you have a lot of influence over a very big part of the budget and the benefits. And so I would just be curious to know if there's a perception that Tarpon Springs as a city isn't a top-tier employer overall, but the benefits are very top-tier. Do employees appreciate that? Let me rephrase that. Do potential candidates really value that as much as everybody? Like, is there an overarching value placed on that? Because I feel like if there was, maybe you wouldn't have that difference of like the perception versus the reality of the benefit situation.
Right. We try to tell people in our recruitment process that we do provide a very comprehensive benefit package. A lot of people are, if they're young, the demographic they always point out is the single young male who really doesn't care if he has health insurance because he's young and healthy and doesn't need it. He's interested in the money. But as you get older, you get a family, your viewpoint changes and your needs change. And I think on our website, we list all of our benefits. We try to tell employees, they know what the city's paying for. Right now, the city's paying almost $900 a month for each and every full-time employee. That's a lot of money. And it really hits home when they go on a leave and it becomes an extended leave for which it's not covered under FMLA and they have to pay their portion of the benefits. That's when they realize just how much those benefits are worth. But on the whole, I think employees understand that we have one of the best benefits in Pinellas County. We try to make that well-known during our recruitment and also in the onboarding, because we go over all of the things ahead of the benefit entitlement.
Have you ever done any surveys or anything to find out what people really value more in terms of if this, then that? Like, I've done this experiment. I have a lot of young men who work in my manufacturing facility, and we just had a conversation. Would you rather have, $3 an hour more or air conditioning? Because we don't have an air conditioning shop. We have very great fans, but no air conditioning. Prior to that, we used to have the conversation of like, this is, like, we lay it out, this is what it costs, like, and we do surveys to say, is that where you'd prefer we spend the money on you? Like, because deferred compensation, that means when you're old, and that means much later and not now. And in this
Exactly.
economy, so we have to do that, or else we will lose people for $2 an hour somewhere else or whatever. So we're trying to make sure we kind of walk that line. And while I appreciate your philosophy, I'm just making sure that the philosophies of the people are being heard.
Yes, that is something we've done in the past, but not recently. As a municipality, we tend to have people that come to us because of the benefit program, because government has always been known for good benefits and job security, the benefit portion is probably still true. I'm not sure about the job security anymore anywhere. But it wouldn't hurt for us to do another survey.
I would just like to last week when I shared some thoughts about the general kind of state, government is known for job security and good benefits and all of that. It's also known for inefficiency and other things. Like, so just kind of maybe finding the better balance. And I think it does start with HR.
I can tell you, I've been here 24 and a half years in this position, and I can tell you that our employees, I don't like to call us a lean and mean city, but we do not have a lot of fat. Our employees are out there. A lot of departments are understaffed. A lot of departments.
Right. That doesn't mean lean and mean. That means something else. Like, right, that you shouldn't. I mean, I don't foresee that you should be understaffed. That doesn't make me feel good.
No.
That we're cutting. I don't want to cut the budget that way. I think there's a lot better ways to
Yeah.
find the budget.
Absolutely. When I say lean and mean, I mean that people they don't have a lot of spare time on their hands. I believe for a small organization that has to wear many hats, that our employees are what I call competitively efficient. I know, and let me give you an example of some misconceptions that have happened over the years. We got a call one time, it was in the afternoon, and the citizen complained because 3 of our guys were sitting on a bench and not doing anything. Well, what they didn't realize was they were doing hurricane cleanup, and they had been working since 7 o'clock that morning, picking up debris, cleaning up, and they had just sat down because they were exhausted. So
And I don't think anybody thinks that's the. No, I don't think it's a matter of that, like that for sure. That's just somebody looking for something to complain about probably, but.
and we have those.
Yeah, and so that's, but even you have good folks and all that, then that's not a problem. And I don't want to imply that because I don't think that's where you find, I don't think any of this lays with the people who work on the streets of Tarpon Springs, let's put it that way.
That's true, true. So if anyone has any questions about our budget, we're always looking for ways to improve, ways to increase our efficiency.
I'd really love to hear back if there is anything done with investigation of what the people who work for the city appreciate and value of their
Okay.
jobs and would like more of. If you'd pursue that, I know
We
you
can
said
do
you've done it
that.
in the past, but if you do that again, I wouldn't mind being pulled in the loop just because I'm very interested.
Yes, we could do that. And I think over the years, I think some of the wants and needs have migrated. In other words.
It's a much different world.
Yes, exactly. And we have multi-generations, but we do have a lot of the new generation coming in. And I can tell you, they think very differently than somebody my age. I'm not saying that in a negative way, I'm just saying it's different. and it's a whole new perspective on work and life in general. So,
Any questions?
No, thank you. Thank you for the
I'm
presentation.
good, thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Jane. Building development?
Hello,
Hello.
I'm Dave Gilson, Building Development Director. Probably already know, but I'll try to recap. Effectively, we're the building department. We also do the majority of business tax receipts. We coordinate almost on a daily basis with probably half of the other departments in the city in some manner. Either we support them or they support us. There's traffic going back and forth almost every day with about half of the departments. So to get into the dollars and cents, lines 11 through 25, that's all employment related. I don't believe there's much to be said about that. There's not much I can do about it for sure. Ron handles most of that, and it's presumed that he does a very good job, so we'll just go with that. Down below that, 31 to 55. So there's most of the stuff on here, I believe, would just be, fall under inflationary type things. If you want to speak to them, we obviously can. One thing that we were able to do, line 31, professional services, that's effectively what is referred to as private provider services. When we're understaffed, we have to provide services. So there's a cottage industry out there that's no longer cottage, it's quite a large industry now, of private inspectors. We have to hire them to fill the voids. As you see, the previous years, it was utilized quite a bit. I have a different mentality. I'd rather work harder, faster, and later. And as you can see, this year to date, we've used zero. But we have to have that money available. Because sometimes people go on FMLA. We've had, recently we had an inspector, move on. So we just have to have that. But we were able to reduce that by $8,000 because I can't imagine we're going to use $20,000, or previously 28,000. The other line item that kind of went up, that would bring attention, is line item 54. That includes our software, our permitting software. When we initially got it, prior to my being here, that was paid for by COVID funds by the Fed. Now we're paying for it, and that line item is approximately half of what it cost. We share that with P&Z because we use it the bulk of the time, although probably 3 or 4 other departments intermingle in it, but not enough to actually probably pay for anything. And
So it's not a new software, it's like just COVID, the Fed paid for it before and we're paying for it now?
yes.
Okay.
We've had it, I believe we've had it for 3 years. Starting January 1st, we literally drew a line in the sand, and we're only using that. Up until then, there was a learning curve for the customers and for our staff, and we just drew a line in the sand, and the learning curve's over. So now we were able to, although it doesn't reflect on here, we were able to trim off some other software that was underutilized and being replaced by this. And
Nice.
this is bringing out much more efficiency to the building department.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Any other questions?
The books and publications, I'm assuming you've got some stuff that's aging out or something?
That's the line item 54?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one with the electronic plan review.
That's, okay, that's
Yeah.
the one. I was thinking it
That-
was,
that's
I
the
circled it,
major-
but I didn't remember the name of it.
And then,
And you have to renew every single year, the books, right? Or
okay,
something's gotta be every
there are
single.
some that are every single year.
Yeah.
But the code books, the bulk of what we use is every 3 years. We just purchase those.
Okay.
Because this was the renewal cycle. And those things are expensive.
Yeah.
Because we have to buy them, I guess we don't have to, but we do. We buy them in paper form and electronic form.
Any other questions?
Nope.
And then if there's no questions on that, the other one we have is tree,
Right.
which I don't know if that's next on the.
Yep, it's next on the list. Go ahead.
The tree fund is effectively captured funds. They can't be used anyplace else.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a lot of times we have difficulty finding ways to use them because there's a lot of rules associated with it. So I think the only major item on here is the increase of 115,000. That, I believe, and Ron can, correct me if I'm incorrect, is through a grant we got from the Fed.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that's, I don't want to say it's money that's given to us by others. It's not tax money.
Am I reading this right? So we had the survey and we're gonna be intending to plant more trees this year? Am I reading that right?
I
or-
brought Shannon in. She is our arborist.
Okay,
She's going to be able to speak to that much more
okay.
in depth than I would.
No, yeah, just definitely curious there, but, yeah.
Hi, I'm Shannon Brewer, the municipal arborist. So currently we have a grant that's going underway from the Inflation Reduction Act. We are inventorying with 4 interns who actually start tomorrow, all the street trees in the census area that's basically bordered by Tarpon Avenue, Pinellas Avenue, Klosterman, and it does go across to the south of Keystone Avenue over there to the lake. As part of that, we will go back into that area and trim up to, actually, we have to do a minimum of $100,000 worth of trimming. It's called Limb Up for Safety. It's going to elevate the roadway to over 16 feet for vehicles and safety equipment. Right now, we have a lot of areas that are below that, and there's been damage to fire trucks and things of that nature. The other grant is the $15,000. It's a 50-50 match. It's creation of the Urban Forestry Master Plan. That is actually phase 2 of the 3-year grant.
Okay,
The first one was the inventory of the CRA historic and Greektown districts. Since that was never been done before, that was a bordered area, definable boundaries. So I use that as a, first time run through to see what we can do and then actually use those same principles into this Inflation
that's
Reduction
great,
Act.
that's great.
As year 3 comes along, that is where the $15,000 match, so it'll be $30,000 worth of trees go back into the areas that we have already inventoried. So that's where we'll do massive
Planting or
planting
what have you,
to
okay.
go with that. I do have goals, but that would actually be on the 2026. But the 15,000, which is a 50-50 match, is for the consultant to help me write that master plan efficiently, effectively, and to today's current ANSIs and 813 standards.
That's great. Was the grant hard to get, or was it sounds like, sounds like you're all over it. Was it?
I never did
just-
one before, and my
Okay.
first 2 that I ever wrote, I got.
That's
so,
amazing. That's amazing.
little girly scream.
Way to go.
So, thank you. Any other questions, tree questions, relationships?
I don't think so.
No, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's why I brought Shannon.
Any other questions?
Not for me, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, cultural.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Diane Wood, Cultural and Civic Services Director, and I brought with me, I wanted to introduce Brandon Grock. He's our Marketing Operations Manager, and Megan McIntyre, she's our Department Administrator, so they're my backup singers. And if you'll permit the indulgence for a minute, I'd like Brandon to just kind of give you a quick overview of where we are this season and some of the things that we've been doing. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brandon Grock. Like Diane said, I'm the Marketing Operations Manager for Tarpon Arts. Diane asked me just to give a brief overview of our programming and some of our performance initiatives that we're doing this year and going into next year. So this was kind of a banner year for us. We had over 60 performances, 22 of them were sold out, 12 here in the Performing Arts Center, another 8 at the Cultural Center, and then our Christopher Still events as well at the Heritage Museum. So we have had sold out shows in the past, but not to this quantity and scale, so we're really proud of what we've been doing. Every year in January, we do a survey of our 8,000 patrons on our mailing list to kind of get a feel for what they're liking, what they, would like to see us do more of or maybe less of. And that's kind of what guides us. So going into next year, we took that information and doubled down on a lot of the types of programming that was working. Some of that's classic rock, tribute bands, a lot of the shows that we do here, but also while keeping a lot of our community initiatives like community theater, our flip-flop opera program, and some of our speaker series, which was formerly called Knowledge and Nibbles, which will now be called Tarpon Talks next year at the Heritage Museum. So I have a couple numbers that I'd like to share with you about our programming financials. So last season, we did have 10 sold-out shows at the PAC, and when we did this meeting at this time last year, we had about 5,000 tickets sold. This year, we had 12 sold-out shows at the PAC, plus 8 at the Cultural Center and the 2 at the Heritage Museum, and we're already over 6,000 tickets sold. So at the same time of the year, we're about 1,000 tickets ahead, and that just kind of speaks to how well we're doing this year. Our final gross ticket sales for last season, which is a combination of the end of the previous fiscal year and then the next fiscal year, because our season starts in August, basically, even though the fiscal year ends or starts in October. We ended last year with 213,000 total in ticket sales. This year, with 3 PAC shows and another 6 Cultural Center shows left, we're already over 200,000 in ticket sales. So we're on track to beat that by a significant amount. So we're also very proud of that.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
awesome,
thank
awesome,
you.
Awesome.
And then next year, for the 24-25 season, we currently have 21 shows confirmed at the Performing Arts Center, 27 shows confirmed at the Cultural Center, and then 5 Tarpon Talks presentations confirmed at the Heritage Museum. So we're hoping to continue our success and kind of double down again on the things that are working, and hopefully continue to climb in our gross ticket sales and continue to provide a great experience to our patrons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Also, I wanted to mention, I wanted to, thank the Budget Review Committee and the Board of Commissioners for, granting us the funds to do the renovations at our venues in, this past fiscal year, because we've been able to transform the Heritage Museum, and the Cultural Center has a brand-new theater. And also, we've done some really nice spruce-ups at the Safford House. So that money has really gone a long way to, kind of showcase our venues, and we're very, very proud of them and take good care of them. Also, in just the time that we opened the Christopher Still exhibit, we have 10 originals over there now, which is phenomenal. Just from February 20th, when we first opened it, we've had over 1,100 visitors come specifically to see that exhibit.
Wow.
So, of course, we have a $5 admission fee, so, our donations from the admission fees have gone up quite significantly too, which is great. But I'm very proud of the fact that we're reaching such a broad audience. Like, there's about a quarter of those people are Tarpon residents, so they're very proud, of the museum as well. And then there's a lot of people from regional, around the state in Florida, but a lot of foreign visitors too. So, we're really getting the word out.
Wow.
And with the city marketing, where this is not cultural, but we're also going to have an actual article on Tarpon Springs in Southern Living magazine, a national magazine.
Amazing.
That's coming in the August issue.
Wow.
So we're really, doing
Yeah,
great
you're
as a
getting the word
city, and
out. That's
we're
awesome.
it's awesome. So I'm very, very excited about that. I also have like a highlight sheet that I will give you all at the end of our presentation today. But what questions do you have for us?
There has to be a show business word for like when you let him go first with all that great.
Is that yeah, the opening act.
Yeah, there
right?
you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Warming up the crowd.
I
with
told
all
you
this
about their
good news.
backup singers.
So changes to your budget is small increases just for furniture, paint, nothing. It sounds like you don't have any major projects planned this year. Am I reading that right?
No, I think we're just going to kind of enhance the projects that we already have, on base. And, as Brandon said, we've got a really stellar new season plan that we're going to announce in
Yeah.
August. And so It's just, you know, kind of maintenance things. The only thing that we've been seeing is that, you know, the cost of the talent that we bring in to Tarpon Springs has been going up significantly. So there, some of our increases have been like in some travel because we go to a conference, you know, and those costs have increased, but also the cost of the entertainment too. And we really tried to keep our ticket sales because of our demographics,
Yeah.
you know, at a certain level. So, you know, we're hoping with our donations and sponsorships and things like that, we could, you know, make things,
Help.
you know, work. Yes.
And I guess if the talent, so it's not that the talent is increasing their price, but maybe the talent, you're maybe going up at,
We are, you know, we're constantly
yeah.
trying to, you know, because that's kind of like our personal challenges. We want to bring the best entertainment to Tarpon Springs as we can. But, you know, we also have limitations with, you know, the size of our venue as well. But, you know, hence the, you know, number of sold-out shows that we've been doing, you know, kind of thing. I'd love to have another 100 seats in the Performing Arts Center. Just saying.
Do you
No,
think you could
that's-
fill them, really?
I mean,
Often, not always, but often?
The balcony here that used to be here, right?
oh, sure.
The balcony here?
I don't think we had a balcony in the Performing Arts Center, did No.
We go big, right?
But,
Somebody lied to me. I thought this used to be.
let's just cut some holes in the, no.
but I think we could fit some more seats down there, you know, it's like we might have to push the, you know, the Board of Commissioners, dais back, but, you know, that could happen. You know,
Yeah,
I can dream, I can dream.
Make the seats smaller. No.
Oh,
Just like
gosh,
the airplanes do.
yeah, that, we would have a mutiny on our hands.
No, this is wonderful. So it sounds like the secret sauce, I mean, obviously you and your team are the secret sauce, but maybe it sounds like you're really engaged with your customers. You're hearing what they want, you're addressing what they want, and then you've got the increase of talent. So yeah, it all sounds very nice.
Thank you.
Amazing work.
Yeah, I have a really great team, and everybody's really dedicated. And with 4 venues and the number of shows we put on at our different venues, you know, with a small, you know, 5 full-time people and then 3 part-time, you know, ticket sales representatives, you know, it can be a challenge sometimes to keep them open, you know, on the weekends and things like that. But, you know, that's when our shows are, so we're kind of engaged, you know, there too. So, and we have, you know, a great production team and Mike and Mark. So, you know, it's like it's all kumbaya. We work together well.
Good, good, good.
Any other questions I can answer for you?
I guess I have one for you, Ron. On the breakdown of the departments you have library listed under this. Is that separate?
Yes, actually the library. When Ron called me, he says, you know, you need to get here now. I let Carrie know, but I don't know if she got
Oh,
that
it's
information.
just because we're ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did let her know. So hopefully I was like, let me talk a little bit more. So, but she should be here. I'm sorry.
No problem.
No problem.
Just
I just-
curious, is the jitney under cultural, anything? No.
No. I think isn't that the Historical Society, I believe? Yes.
And that's just if we were talking, I just was like, what's up with that? I was thinking about it.
But please, if you have not been over to the Heritage Museum to see our new exhibit, please come over, you know, anytime. We'd love to show that to you. Chris Still and Kevin Starkey did an amazing, high-quality, it's like a 35-minute documentary, and it kind of talks about how Christopher Still's painting strategy and all the details and everything, but it's a beautiful piece about the city of Tarpon Springs as well. So we love showing that to, you know, all of our visitors and everything, so.
Now, were you going to do a musical act with your backup singers as well?
Right?
We take
Intermission. We like intermission.
I do a killer Johnny Angel.
Okay, let's do it.
Mr. Chairman, we have a comment, a public comment on this item.
Okay,
May I?
sure.
And it's really, you got my brain going here, thinking about this Talk Tarpon. Okay, we got an arts committee and we have a sustainability committee. So these talk sessions, reach out to our committee and see if they can bring in different types of artists, whether it's literary artists or sculpture artists to come and give lectures. Same thing with the sustainability, get people from Eckerd College. There's a guy who does research for gopher tortoises. He goes out to Weeden Island. They got this special machine. You can go to St. Pete College, USF, the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. I'm sure you could work out arrangements to have these different people come, and I'm sure they would be willing to share their knowledge, and it's a way to expand, I think, the cultural outreach. And one last thing, I would also, if you go to the Heritage Center now, there's a beautiful exhibit of the history of the ancient, the Native Americans that were here. And that would be another area through the historical heritage. You know, I know the heritage kind of focuses more on buildings, but my focus also to get them look more at cultural heritage. But here's another avenue where we've got resources that we can bring in various new ideas and knowledge and shared knowledge that, you know, help.
Sure. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
Love
That's
that,
great
love
that. Thank you.
suggestion. Actually, we just at the Cultural Center, they had, the Historical Society did one of their Tarpon Tales recently, you know, at the museum too. And we are always looking for new speakers, so please give me any of your ideas. I would love to get them. Thank you.
The sustainability series.
We did a sustainability series, like a
Well, I
one.
went there when Tommy and them did the program. They explained it, but what I'm talking is actually having maybe guest speakers come in speaking about specific topics of either environment or, you know, there's a whole thing we could, Dr. Robertson did it about living seashores, and we're working on trying to rebuild the Whitcomb Bayou and some of the bayous, so just more educational stuff about living seashores, just various
Yeah,
items of
I think that's a great idea.
concern that affects us here. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir, thank you. Is there anything else?
No, not under, strictly under cult. We want to proceed with yours, and then when Carrie gets here, we can do the library.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, let's go ahead and proceed with yours, Ron.
Well, I've got the finance department on page 14, and I'm sorry it's not going to be as exciting as cultural and all their shows and all that stuff, you know.
You'll bring singers next time.
Yes. I'll get the staff to come over and try to sing. Okay, we'll work on that.
I'm never gonna hear the end of calling it stale, am I?
But the finance department, we do everything finance related, accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, investments, debt, and all the financial reporting. Of course, the budget document, the audit reports every year. Like I say, our budget is pretty dry. I think there's not much to it and stuff. You know, we still have a couple vacant positions, still looking for some over the last year. And I gotta say, I'm very fortunate. I've got a very good staff back there. And I think sometimes what you find out is when some people leave, I've got other people that have learned more duties. And you know, I've got, you know, Shane over here. He's taken on a lot more responsibilities. In fact, I got to be careful not to give him too much and
Don't give him
overload
too-
him and
no.
stuff. But Shane was promoted
No,
from
that's wonderful.
he was promoted from budget analyst to accounting manager. You know, if I didn't have
Excellent.
him and the staff
Congratulations.
back in the back room, I might have gone nuts by now, but more so. But all the ladies in the back room have all helped out and stuff with the work, you know, until we're trying to get some positions filled. Shane's old position, we're going to do some interviews next week. So we're gradually getting the department filled up. And as far as the expenditures in the budget, I don't know if there's anything, you know, besides everybody else, we budgeted the 3% increase for salaries. As you know, the health insurance and all that was a 10% increase. I just trying to go down some of my expenditures. You know, I have money budgeted for travel. You don't see much this year, but I just went to the conference this last weekend and got back Tuesday, so there'll be some more expense there. But there's really not much else there besides the plain office expenditures, and we try to make sure we cut back where we can on some of these expenditures. I don't know if you have any questions on the finance department there, but.
Why do you think you're having a hard time filling your spots?
I wish I had that answer, but I have offered it to 3 or 4 people. Some wanted more money than we could pay, and stuff, like above the salary range, and they just, some people, there was a couple that didn't, offered it to them, didn't call back. So I thought that was sort of strange, but, so yeah, it's just, we're trying to find, an assistant finance director, but also trying to look for somebody to succeed myself too. So I'm not sure if I'm retiring in a year or 2 years, but trying to find somebody to.
Did you say 10 years?
10 years. Oh, geez, I don't know if I could.
Just
But,
kidding.
yeah. But, in fact, I don't know if sometimes if you get an ad out there too long, but I re-advertised a couple months ago, but really haven't gotten much of
The
it.
house that goes back on the market, everybody wants to know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, and then we've done LinkedIn too, and I know Sarah sort of weeds through some of the, before giving them to me, but just not getting that many. But
I've heard a lot of people are leaving the accounting profession in general, just aren't, it's like our accountants are hurting for people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that segment of finance is struggling a little bit, the more, like, not the sexy investment side, it's more the, like, admin
Yeah.
work side of things, yeah.
And I don't know, I went to my conference, I think a lot of people, I don't know if they're just not moving around, they're staying in their positions, at the other cities. They're happy where they're at. And so we'll find somebody sometime here. If you're all done with the finance, I can go to utility billing.
The utility zone.
Let's see, what page was that? That was page 246. Utility billing, that's the staff in the office downstairs. There's 4 ladies that work in the office. We have a new manager. It started about 2 months ago, Christine. Looking forward to getting her going and training her in on the utility. She had some utility experience in the past. She actually worked in finance for about 5 years, but as an accounting technician. But before that, she was a manager up in New York under utilities. So we're excited to get her there. I've got a good staff down there too, some with some years of experience, 15, 16 years of experience with one person. So knock on wood, I hate to say, as soon as I say I've got a good full staff, all of a sudden somebody leaves, but we've got a good staff down there. As far as the budget, I don't see any, we budget $5,000 for temporary help just in case we need it. So far, we haven't needed it this year. So I don't know if there's any other questions on utility billing.
I know they do a great job. I really do believe that. Like, just in terms of alerting you and helping you when your bill's too much. Yeah, they've just been really, my daughter had a big problem and it was like so easy, like how they handled, and even just letting her know, hey, you might have a problem.
Well, we probably promote the customers are important, the customer service. And they all got a good temperament as far as working, and they try to help people. Even myself, I try to make sure I try to help people, listen to their problems, and see where we can go and help you with what your issue is. So that's a utility billing staff. If you're ready, I can go on to meter readers.
Go ahead.
We've got 3 meter readers
I didn't
down.
know we had meter readers. I really didn't.
Well, they're meter technicians. I'm sorry.
Or technicians or any kind of whatever.
They
Like,
used to be meter readers.
luckily, I've never gotten a ticket, I guess, so I'm a rule follower, but I've never seen them. I just didn't even know we had those.
They won't ticket you. I thought you said give you a ticket.
They're talking about the water meters.
Oh. Oh, God. I'm in parking, my brain's on
Well,
parking.
yeah.
Been using too much water. We're giving you.
You can park for free in Tarpon.
This is my guilt coming because the other night in front of Oishi, I parked in the 15-minute parking for an hour and the whole time was worried sick I was gonna get a ticket.
Yeah. But, again, I've got a full staff, very fortunate here, 3 guys and working in the meter readers, technicians, excuse me. We've gone to the new cloud software with the help of IT, getting that going. But now they used to carry these big meter reader, they go out to get the readings, but now they're doing everything that's off a smartphone. They go out, they just drive down the road. Now, not all the meters are connected to the automated read system. I think the city's about 75% on this system, but they drive down. And now they have this transreceiver box in their trucks that help them pull up the readings, so as they're driving by, they can capture the readings on these routes. But
What about the meters that aren't?
they still have to get out for them.
Still get out and read
We're trying to aggressively try to get the rest of these done.
Are they sort of isolated in one area of the city, or there's no
They're
rhyme
in
or
different
reason?
blocks,
Okay.
yeah, but trying to get those done. I've been working with Tommy and the water department to try to make sure we can try to get all these, get them all with the new AMR system. And other than that, I'm looking at their budget. Last year, they bought a vehicle. That's why it went down in capital last year. They got a new vehicle. Other than that, nothing too much else exciting in that budget, but if you got any questions.
Any questions?
And we won't give you any tickets or anything, but.
When you said meter, it's seriously because of that night. I was like, oh God, I'm gonna get in so much trouble.
We could start it. Maybe that's something in the funding
I
stuff.
was gonna say, there's our 1%.
Just downtown.
All right, thanks, Ron. Okay, so we're ready for library.
Going through everything quickly today.
Yes, we are.
I'm Carrie Rupp-Kelvis, Library Director, and to begin, I just wanted to mention how our library budget is a little bit different than some of the other city budgets. We have interdepartmental allocations for other departments that provide services to library, like Public Works, Human Resources, IT, etc. And these interdepartmental allocations help us to show the true cost of running a library, which also helps us to get credit on the Pinellas Public Library Cooperative funding formula, because every year the co-op receives money from the county collected from taxes from unincorporated county, and they divide it among the different member libraries, of which we are one. And it depends primarily on your local support dollars. So the city, depending on how much the city provides, our library has an opportunity to, if it spends more, we have an opportunity to get more back. For example, this year we got over $300,000 from the county. So when you see our total budget, it's over $1 million, but some of the county funds are using to help fund that. So that's about our interdepartmental allocations. Also, I wanted to mention we have the library memorial account, which is primarily received from donations from the Friends of the Library. We do also get individual donations like a book memorial, or we sell bricks, commemorative bricks, things like that. But the bulk of it comes from the Friends of the Library, and this organization every year gives us a annual donation, December. This year, they told me they felt comfortable that it would be $20,000, if not more. So that's what our budget is derived from here in the library memorial account. And that goes to fund special enhancements, such as our summer reading programs, our special collection items like our musical instruments, those sort of things. And those funds come from the Friends Used Bookstore that they have in the library, where used books are sold, and all those proceeds come back to the library at the end of the year. And also the Friends have some investments, so the money comes from that as well. But other than those that were a little different than some of the other departments, this year's budget is very similar to last year's budget. The other big thing we have going on is our library renovation project. We've been at our current Lemon Street location for 27 years now, and we did recently get a $500,000 grant from the state, which involves matching funds, $100,000 from the donations, and then $400,000 from the impact fees. That project is underway now. We are working with project administration and other city departments, but it probably won't go out to bid, and the construction probably won't start till later in the year. So some of it's encumbered in this fiscal year, and then depending on how things play out, some of it, the rest might be carried over into fiscal year 2025.
Maybe I misheard. Are you moving locations, or are you?
No, it's the
Oh,
same,
you're
it's the
staying-
same
okay,
location. We are just
okay,
doing
cool,
renovations there. We're remodeling and doing
Okay.
a little expansion there.
Nice, nice.
So when you say different, like the interdepartmental allocation, that would be like finance doesn't have to allocate their portion of HR, or let's say like whoever fixes the AC or whatever, but you do because it helps your numbers.
Exactly.
Because that's the true cost of running the, like.
Yes, 'cause
you
we
wouldn't be
wouldn't-
able to run it if they didn't fix the AC and HR didn't, okay, I got you.
Exactly,
So it just
correct.
kind of, then that beefs up your budget to the reality, rather than it being the city subsidizes it a little bit.
Correct.
For the purpose of that Pinellas County, I got it.
Yes.
Any other questions
I
on
don't have
library?
any.
No, it sounds like the large increase, the main increases you have, other than the additional library resources, is the IT maintenance.
Oh, yeah, actually, we are working together with IT. They're going to be taking a much bigger role at managing the library IT systems. They're helping us update our computers and our networks. And so there's going to be a lot more to come, potentially even too. We have a vacant position that might be involved with converting to an IT position. And so.
Within your.
Yeah,
within your-
so IT provides a lot of support, and then even more so lately, so.
Yeah, because you have quite a few computers, and they're used, if I'm not mistaken, like you give them
Yes, we
second-
have,
yeah.
obviously the staff computers, we have public computers
Yeah.
in our adult services, our teen room, our youth services,
Yeah.
for people who don't have their own devices to be able to come and use internet access.
Do you have like a small maker space as well, or is that a different?
We will. That is part of the renovation
Okay,
project,
that, I
so.
knew it was on my, maybe I learned that in Citizens Academy and it just kind of stuck. in
Yeah,
my brain
because
a little bit,
yeah, that's one of the enhancements that are coming.
Nice. Well, that'll be nice when that project gets started.
Yes, we're
yeah.
really looking forward to that.
I don't have any more questions.
I don't either. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, before we move into public comments, I wanted to go back to something we discussed last week in terms of the motions we made and the best time to present them. You were going to talk with city manager and try to get some feedback on when we should be narrowing in on that.
As far as presenting your options, I would say the best meeting would be the July 9th meeting, the first budget workshop.
Okay. We have to talk to you about that one because I may not be available that day.
Oh, well, I think, are you available then?
I said I am
Yes.
available.
She-
that
she
day.
Well, I'll
volunteered.
get back with you after I confirm
Yeah.
that.
As long as
I
it's not
just
too
need-
late,
I
I'll
I just needed a date so I can plan, because I'm
Is it
pretty sure
usually
I'm
in
out of
day or
town.
evening?
It's usually evening.
This evening, it'll start at 6:30
Oh,
in the
perfect.
main
That makes it even
auditorium down
easier.
there.
Okay, we'll get that worked out.
Okay.
And that's is that a Tuesday?
Yes.
Oh, it's a Tuesday, okay. Okay, so,
Okay, let's continue with the agenda. Any other public comments? Board and staff comments?
I just wanted to mention, I met with the property appraiser. I think I was telling you last week on the taxable value, we budgeted 5%. He said it's still an estimate, but we're looking at, it might be just a little below 8.5% as a taxable value increase. So even if it's like 8%,
okay.
that's an additional 3%, that's
That
about
should
another,
help.
I'm sorry.
That's good news, that should help.
I know, I was a little surprised, even I had that little double take, I had to go check with him, I'd go check it. So that's about another 400,000 in revenues for the general fund.
Yeah.
He's still working on it, especially the tangible portion of it. The official estimate comes out June 1st.
Right.
And that'll get us a little bit closer, and then the certified values on July 1st. So that was good to hear that it looks like we're heading over 8%.
Good.
Okay. Obviously, the next meeting is next week to go over the remaining departments.
Yes.
Any other future agenda items besides working on the budget?
It's enough for me.
Okay. So, I say we adjourn this meeting at 3:13.
Thank you. I got treats and stuff today.
We forgot our goodie bag.
Yeah, I got some M&Ms.